After a loved one's death, planning for their funeral can be such an emotional time. But our first guests today say you can spare your family a lot emotionally and financially by pre-planning for your funeral. I headed out to Tharp Funeral Home and Crematory to learn more.
Well, we're the oldest family-owned funeral home in the region. My grandfather started back in 1931 in Bedford and worked his way up and eventually bought the funeral home location there. My father expanded here in Lynchburg in 1994, and we were the only family-owned funeral home in the area at that time. And I'm very proud that we've grown to be the largest and busiest funeral home in the region. That's largely due to the fact that we have fantastic staff like I have here with me today.
And let's introduce these folks over here. They work in different areas.
Right. Well, one of the things that we really emphasize at Tharp and that we're excited to talk about today is the benefits of planning your funeral ahead of time. And they may not sound like something that's a lot of fun, but it is something that actually can be a tremendous asset to your family. We believe in it so much, in fact, that we have full-time specialists at each of our locations. Jeff Thaxton here to your right emphasizes and focuses on our Lynchburg and Madison Heights area. And then Marla Meek next to him is at our Bedford and Smith Mountain Lake location. And their sole focus, sole responsibilities are in helping families pre-planning in advance of a death. And those of us that help families at the time of need are often jealous of these individuals because they're able to work with families without that stress of a death having occurred. Families have time to make decisions and reflect on those decisions, whereas when I'm helping a family in an at-need situation, they pretty much have to make the decision that day because the person has passed away. Whereas with Jeff and with Marla, they have time to reflect on it, make sure things are within their budget. It's really a fantastic program, and we're proud of it.
Well, let's talk deeply about that. Tell me about the benefits of pre-planning.
Number one is the ability to spare your family having to make those decisions on that day. They're able to come in and meet with one of us, and it's a non-threatening type of atmosphere, and we're there to try to find out information about them and give them an opportunity to communicate the things that they want, or maybe more accurate to say the things that they don't want. They're able to pick out and indicate the things that they would like. They're able to get a price together for that. Should they choose to want to pay for it, the biggest advantage to them is that they do get a guaranteed price when they do that, so it does not matter how long it is before they actually use it. If you will, it becomes a win strategy for them to decide what it is they want.
Now, what if mom decides that she moves to Florida, and you've pre-planned, the money is here? How does that work then?
Well, actually, in Virginia, we have it set up in an irrevocable escrow that no one can touch for any purpose other than the death of that individual. If they transfer it, say, to Florida, in your example, it would just simply mean they've moved the file typically to a funeral director of their choosing in Florida, and then that funeral director has sent the request back to us. We'll forward the file to them, and then at the time of the individual's death, that funeral home makes the claim against the money in that trust, but the money does not move.
And that's good to know. Now, Marla, we're talking also about mistakes. Tell me a little bit about the mistakes.
I'd say the number one mistake is not communicating your wishes to your family,
right,
and getting them in writing with your funeral home of choice. Mm-hmm. A lot of people say, well, I've done that already. Everything's in my will. Well, wills are typically read 2 to 4 weeks following the death, and everything's done by then. The person is either buried or cremated, and services are complete. So to get your wishes on paper with the funeral home, whether or not you prepay it, is definitely the way to go. I mean, there's no negatives to that. It's all positive.
Is it cheaper overall to prepay then?
Yes, definitely. Studies have shown that families who take advantage of not only pre-planning but also prepaying for their pre-arrangements ahead of time typically save 30% versus doing it at the time of need. If their family came in and made all those selections for them at the time of death, going to spend about 30% more.
That is a huge difference. And also, you get the peace of mind that experts like you both know what there's to offer out there. You can save families money in general. There are some veterans benefits, aren't there?
There are. Veterans there are actually a variety of them. Veterans are typically entitled to a space in a national cemetery. Many times a vault is provided for them at no charge in those cemeteries. They're entitled to a marker provided by the government. They're entitled to a flag. If death occurs with a veteran in a VA facility, they're also entitled to transportation from that place of death to the place of burial. So it can be significant. It used to be that any honorably discharged veteran was entitled to a $300 monetary benefit by the VA, and like so many things, that was cut out. But Tharp, as a funeral home, made a decision a number of years ago that we would maintain that benefit. So that's something that veterans can use on their pre-planning to save a little bit up front.
And you and I were talking earlier about, you know, when you talk ahead, people take it more lightly too. You know, I can imagine my husband coming in here and saying, you know, my wife might not like it, but I want a Spider-Man urn. Do you get crazy things like that?
You know, the best appointments I have are when they say, Jeff, you've probably never heard this before. And I said, well, surprise me. I do think that the appointment goes a lot lighter. And for many years, I've made the joke that I'm a reservation specialist, that it's an open-ended ticket. You don't have to decide when you're going. But it just makes it so much easier to have that flexibility and come in and talk about it. And I think that people are a lot more comfortable. Many times it's what they think it's going to be, not actually what it's going to be when they come in here.
And if you'd like to learn more about cremation in Lynchburg, they're actually holding a seminar tomorrow, Thursday, October 17th, from 5:30 to 6:15. For more information about that one, 434-237-9424. They're also holding one Tuesday, October 22nd. That's in Bedford. For more information about that one, 540-586-3443. And for information in general, you don't have to have an appointment. You can just give them a call or stop by Tharp Funeral Home and Crematory. There's several locations. Again, 434-237-9424 or online, tharpfuneralhome.com.